If I were moving to Oahu in 2025, I wouldn't live where I do now. Oahu is paradise. But if you're thinking about making a move, I'd seriously rethink what paradise actually means for your daily life. In this video, I'll show you why some of the most popular neighborhoods might not be the best choice in 2025. The exact places I'd move to today based on lifestyle, family needs, and the real-world cost of living here in Hawaii, and how to match your move to your life stage, whether you're in your 20s, raising a family, or planning your next chapter in retirement. I'm Duc Ong, a local Honolulu realtor. I've lived all over Oahu, from condos in town to houses in the suburbs. I've helped dozens of buyers relocate to Oahu from the mainland. This isn't theory, it's what I'd do if I had to make the move again today. Right now, I live in Kaimuki, but here's the twist. My home isn't like the classic old plantation houses you usually find here. Mine was actually built in 2022. It's modern, efficient, and the best part is that it's got multiple units that help cover the mortgage. That's honestly been a huge game changer. Instead of stressing every month about sky-high payments, those rentals give me breathing room, which is pretty rare in Honolulu real estate. There's a lot to love about living here. I've got the best of both worlds, a brand new home in a neighborhood with real character. I'm minutes from Kahala Mall, Waikiki, downtown, so whether it's school drop-off, groceries, or a client meeting, it's all super convenient. Plus, Kaimuki still has that small town feel. I can grab a coffee, take the kids to a park, or bump into neighbors at local restaurants. And with some of the best schools nearby, it's been perfect for raising my kids. But even with all those pros, I'm not sure I'd pick Kaimuki again in 2025. Here's why. First, space versus price. Even with a modern house, lots in Kaimuki are tight. Yards are small, streets are narrow, and parking can be a battle. My property works because of the rental income. But if you're a growing family, you might feel squeezed compared to what you could get in, say, Kapolei or Eba, where the same money buys you a much larger, newer home. Second, density and parking. With multiple units, there are more cars, more people coming and going, and in Kaimuki, that just compounds the challenge. The neighborhood's charm comes with some congestion. And finally, cost versus value. Kaimuki has gotten expensive. Even though my house is next to Kahala, it's not Kahala level pricing, but you are paying a premium for location and lifestyle. If I sold my place today, I could potentially move to a bigger house elsewhere, maybe Hawaii Kai, maybe out west, and trade convenience for more space and a quieter street. One thing I do wish we had is a bigger yard or a pool. The kids love being outside, and while our home works well for us, sometimes I imagine how nice it'd be to have more space to run around, kick a ball, or jump into the pool on a hot day. So, while Kaimuki has been great for me, and I love the balance it's given my family, if I were to move again in 2025, I seriously ask myself, do I want convenience and character, or do I want more space and better long-term value? Let's time travel to when I was 25. No kids, no big obligations, just hungry for adventure and new experiences. If I were moving to Honolulu in my 20s today, my priorities would be totally different from what they are now. I wouldn't be worried about school districts or having a 3-bedroom house. I'd want excitement, convenience, and community. When you're in your 20s, you probably want a neighborhood with some nightlife, restaurants, and a social scene. You might care about being close to work if you're starting your career, or close to surf spots if that's your thing. Basically, you want a place that offers fun and opportunities to meet people, and you might be willing to trade off space and peace to get it. Here are 3 areas I'd put at the top of the list for younger, energetic lifestyle. Kaka'ako, Ala Moana. This is the new in spot for young professionals in Honolulu. Back in the day, Kaka'ako was an industrial area. You wouldn't want to live there. But in the last decade, it has transformed into Honolulu's premier urban district with shiny new condo towers, craft breweries, co-working spaces, and art galleries. If I were 25, I'd love Kaka'ako. Picture this. You finish work and you can walk to happy hour at a local brewery or hit up the monthly night market with food trucks and live music. You've got Salt at Kaka'ako with cool eateries and bars, and you're just a 10-minute walk away from Ala Moana Beach Park for an evening surf session. Kaka'ako is super walkable. You can go grocery shopping at Whole Foods, meet friends at a rooftop pool, and ditch the car on weekends. The vibe is young, modern, and energetic. There are lots of people in their 20s and 30s, many of them transplants, working in Honolulu's growing tech and startup scene. Now, there's a price to pay for being in the hotspot. The cost of living in Kaka'ako is high. These are mostly new, high-rise condos with luxury amenities, and the prices reflect that. Median condo prices are around $800,000 to $900,000. Rent could easily be $3,000 plus a month for a one-bedroom in a fancy building. But if you can swing it, the lifestyle is unbeatable for a young person. Plus, it's a short commute to downtown jobs. Frankly, in your 20s, you might not need a car here. Kaka'ako, Ala Moana is one of the few areas in Honolulu where you can realistically get by with just a bike or bus pass, because everything's close and the new rail line will soon connect to Kaka'ako. Now, what about the downsides? It's mostly condos, so if you dream of a cute standalone house or a big yard, that's not happening here. Also, being a trendy spot can be noisy, and watch out for those HOA fees on condos. They can be expensive depending on the building. But at 25, I'd take a sparkling high-rise studio with an ocean view and pool deck over a big suburban house any day. Next is downtown Honolulu, Chinatown. Some people in their 20s crave that gritty city life and creative energy. If you're one of them, Honolulu's downtown Chinatown area could be your jam. Downtown Honolulu is the commercial heart of Hawaii. There's lots of office buildings, historic architecture, and older condo buildings that are relatively affordable. You can find condos in the $300,000 to $500,000 range here, which is cheap by Honolulu standards. If I were young and just starting out, I might buy a small condo downtown just to get my foot in the real estate door while keeping my monthly costs low. Living downtown means you can walk to work if you're in finance, government, or any of the office jobs in the area. Adjacent to the business district is Chinatown, which has undergone a renaissance of late. Chinatown has a mix of art galleries, trendy bars, speakeasies, and traditional markets that have been there forever. On the first Friday night of the month, you can do an art walk, then grab craft cocktails, and end up at a late-night noodle house, all within a few bucks. It's a very urban lifestyle, definitely not the beachy, tiki vibe people picture for Hawaii, but it has its own appeal. If you're into arts, music, or the startup scene, there are co-working spaces and events in this area. Plus, you're a short drive or bus ride to the beaches. Ala Moana Beach is about 10 minutes away. Now, what about the cons? Chinatown and parts of downtown can be rough around the edges. There's homelessness and drug use on the streets. And if you're not used to an urban environment, it can be jarring. Some blocks smell like, let's just say, it's not hibiscus flowers. Safety can be a concern late at night, so you have to be aware of your surroundings. Parking can be a headache. Many downtown rentals or condos don't come with a stall, so you might be hunting for street parking or renting a space in a garage. But for a certain kind of young adult, the energy of downtown Honolulu might outweigh those downsides. Rent and condo prices here tend to be lower than in the shiny new Kaka'ako area, so you get a financial break. From a cultural perspective, you'll experience the real Honolulu, not just the tourist side. If I were 25 and wanted to save some money while being close to the action, I'd totally consider a loft or small apartment downtown. Downtown is also set to be a future hub for the rail, so that's a forward-looking bonus. Waikiki. I have mixed feelings about recommending Waikiki to locals, but I have to mention it because if you're young and moving to Hawaii, Waikiki sounds like a dream. And for some, it is. If I were new to Honolulu and 22 years old, the idea of living walking distance from world-famous Waikiki Beach would be tempting. The pros are you step outside and you're basically on vacation every day. The beach is right there. If you want to surf after work, just grab your board and go. You can literally be in the water within minutes. As for nightlife, Waikiki has tons of bars, live music at hotel lounges, and nightclubs. Restaurants of every kind are at your doorstep. It's extremely walkable. You don't need a car at all to live comfortably in Waikiki. Groceries, cafes, the post office, everything is within a few blocks. And surprisingly, Waikiki has a lot of relatively affordable condo units because many are older buildings. The median condo price in Waikiki is actually under $500,000, mainly because units tend to be small studios or one bedrooms. So, a young buyer might find a decent deal. especially if you're okay with a 300 to 400 square foot studio. Now for the cons. Waikiki is like living in Times Square, but by the beach. It is tourist central. That means year-round crowds, noise, and a certain lack of community feeling for locals. Most of your neighbors might be tourists or short-term renters. If you have a car, parking is insanely expensive or hard to find. Groceries and essentials can be pricier at the small Waikiki stores. And did I mention noise? Garbage trucks at 5 a.m., loud, drunk tourists at 2 a.m., live music, deliveries. Waikiki is 24/7. Waikiki apartments are often tiny and old. Think window AC units that struggle in the summer, possible roaches in older buildings. Despite all that, I know many young folks who start in Waikiki just for the experience. Some last a year and then want out, and some absolutely thrive on the effect. If Waikiki appeals to you, but you want a little more local vibe, check out the Kapahulu area on the Diamond Head side of Waikiki. Kapahulu is adjacent to Waikiki, but it's more of a local residential area with cool local restaurants. You're still super close to the action, but you get a buffer from the tourist mayhem. To wrap up, the theme is lifestyle first neighborhoods. At that age, I prioritize an area that offers community and fun experiences. Yes, Honolulu is expensive, but if you move all the way to Hawaii in your 20s, you probably want to enjoy Hawaii, not sit in traffic an hour each way, or isolate yourself in a quiet suburb. I'd personally pick a smaller apartment in a lively area over a big place in isolation. And some of the condo-heavy urban spots can actually be reasonably affordable for a starter. For example, a modest one-bedroom in an older downtown building might cost $400,000 to purchase or $1,700 in rent. Not cheap, but doable if you have a decent job. Community and meeting people matters more when you're moving to a new city in your 20s. Neighborhoods like Kaka'ako downtown or even the Kamuki area near UH are places where there are gatherings and young professional meetups. If you live way out in a quiet suburb, it's harder to meet people beyond work. For my 25-year-old reboot, Kaka'ako might be my number one choice if budget allows. Downtown Chinatown would be choice number 2 if I'm artsy or budget conscious, and Waikiki would be number 3 if I'm a beach bum or just want the iconic Hawaii experience. If I were raising a family or planning to have kids, let's switch gears. Say I'm in my 30s or 40s, moving to Honolulu with a spouse and maybe a couple of kids. This is actually the situation a lot of my clients are in. Family life comes with a different set of priorities. Suddenly you care about space, safety, schools, and community on a deeper level. You're less interested in pub crawls and more interested in playgrounds and having a decent yard for the kids. Commuting might still matter because you might be juggling daycare drop-offs with getting to the office on time. And cost is a huge factor, maybe even more so for families because you're thinking about affording a home big enough for everyone. If I were moving my family to Oahu in 2025, here are my top picks for newcomers with families. Hawaii Kai. This is on the eastern end of Honolulu, about 25 to 30 minutes away from downtown. Hawaii Kai is a master plan community known for being clean, safe, and very family-oriented. It's the picture of suburban paradise. You got cul-de-sacs, kids biking around, good schools, and shopping centers with everything you need. If I had young kids, Hawaii Kai would be really tempting. The schools in this area are some of the best. Kaiser High School is a well-regarded full IB school, and there are excellent elementary schools nearby as well. You have the Hawaii Kai Town Center and Koko Marina Center with grocery stores, Costco, restaurants, and clinics, so you don't have to leave the area for day-to-day needs. There are lots of activities for kids, a public library, community parks, and even a marina where kids can learn water sports. On weekends, you can take the family hiking on the Makapu Lighthouse Trail or go to Sandy Beach or baby-friendly beaches like Monolua Bay. Lifestyle-wise, Hawaii Kai offers a balance of nature and convenience. You're nestled between the ocean and the mountains. Many houses have gorgeous views or are even along canals or marina fingers where you can dock a little boat. Now, Hawaii Kai is a move-up market. The median single-family home price is around $1.5 million for a 3 to 4 bedroom house, maybe around 2,000 square feet, possibly with a yard or pool. There are also townhouses and condos that are less expensive. Some 2-bed townhomes are in the $700,000 to $900,000 range. Besides the schools and safety, I'd say quality of life is high. clean air, less noise, nice community events. Kids tend to play outdoors more because it's safe in the neighborhoods. But what about the cons? The biggest is probably the commute. If you work in town, you'll be driving along Kalanianaole Highway every day, and traffic can back up during rush hour. A 25-minute drive can become 45 plus minutes in bad traffic. Some families offset that by having one parent working from home. Another con, Hawaii is very residential. Some might say too quiet or boring. At night, there's not much nightlife. It also lacks old school charm. But if I were relocating with my family and wanted a turnkey, family-friendly experience with minimal worry, Hawaii would be a top choice. Next is Kahala, or Ainahaina New Valley area. If budget isn't your primary concern and you want the best in terms of prestigious, established neighborhoods, it's hard to beat Kahala family living. Kahala is basically Honolulu's Beverly Hills. You got large lots, luxury homes, and it's super private. It's the kind of neighborhood where kids ride their bikes on wide, quiet streets, and you have Kahala Beach literally in your backyard. For families, the appeal is space and a top-notch environment. You can get a big, single-level house with a yard and a pool, which is gold for kids. It's also just 10 minutes from Waikiki and about 15 minutes from downtown, so commuting is fantastic. Safety is extremely high, and the public elementary school is good. Plus, there's a lot of private schools that are nearby. The con is obvious, cost. Kahala's median price is in the multi-millions, and even a tear-down house can cost $1.5 to $2 million just for the land. If I could afford it comfortably, would I move to Kahala? Definitely. If you prefer a similar area with a more middle-class feel, look at Ainahaina and New Valley, just a bit further east. Those are also East Honolulu neighborhoods with good schools, and you can get a nice 3 to 4 bedroom house for around $1.6 million. Still expensive, but half the price of Kahala for being 5 minutes further from town. Many families love Ainahaina New Valley because it's still safe and residential, but you might actually meet other families at the little shopping center or community events. So, if I had my heart set on East Honolulu for the schools and lifestyle, I'd likely target New Valley, Ainahaina, or Wailainui, which have some nice mid-century homes. Next up is Mililani. Mililani is in the Central Valley about 20 plus miles from downtown, maybe 30 to 40 minutes driving. A lot of families choose Mililani for affordability and value. You generally get more house for your dollar here. A single family home might be in the $900,000 to $1.1 million range for a nice 3 to 4 bedroom home. Mililani is a master planned community, so they have parks, community pools, recreation centers, and organized sports leagues. Basically a lot of infrastructure for families. It feels very suburban, but with a Hawaiian climate. The community association keeps the place looking nice. It's cooler up there, and there's more rainfall, so it's greener. The schools are known to be quite good. It's a tight-knit community with a lot of military families and local families who've been there for generations. If I were okay with not being in town and I wanted a safe, wholesome environment for my kids, Mililani would be on the list. Houses have big yards, kids can play outside, lots of other families for play dates, and low risk of petty crime compared to town. The cons are the commute to town or Pearl Harbor can still be significant. Also, you're giving up proximity to the beach. Mililani is inland. You drive 30 to 40 minutes to get to the North Shore or town for beach time. Some people don't mind because they go on weekends, and others miss being closer to the water. For me, coming from living in town, I personally would find Mililani a bit of an adjustment because it feels more like mainland suburbia. But I know for kids, it could be great. Sage streets to ride bikes, friends next door. It's that kind of trade-off. Do you want a postcard Hawaii life or a comfortable life with palm trees? Next up is Kapolei Ewa Beach. If you're moving to Oahu with a family and sticker shock is hitting you hard, Kapolei or Ewa Beach might be where you end up looking. Kapolei is known as Oahu's second city, about 20 miles west of Honolulu. Over the past 20 years, it exploded with development. Shopping malls, a medical center, West Oahu, and tons of new housing. Ewa Beach is just east of Kapolei, an area that was once sugarcane fields and is now vast suburban neighborhoods. The big selling point here is new homes at relatively affordable prices and larger size. You can find a 4-bedroom brand new house in the $800 to $900,000 range in developments like Ho'opili. Many come with modern, open floor plans, central AC, garages, all the things that many older homes in town lack. As a family man, the idea of a new house where I don't have to worry about 50-year-old plumbing or termites is very attractive. Those communities often have parks, playgrounds, and even community pools designed into the neighborhood. Couple A has great infrastructure for families. You got Wet n Wild water park, shopping malls, lots of big box stores like Target and Costco. Schools in Couple A and Eva are newer. Historically, some have had mixed reputations, but many families manage fine, and there are charter schools and private options around. Now for the cons. The elephant in the room is the commute. West Oahu to downtown Honolulu commute is infamously bad. If you leave at the wrong time, you could be in traffic for 1 to 1.5 hours one way. A lot of families live out there, have at least one parent who works on that side, or they accept the commute as the price of a home they can afford. Honolulu's new rail line started running in mid-2023 from East Kapolei to Aloha Stadium. By late 2025, they plan to open the segment through the airport towards town. It's not connected to downtown yet, but it's making progress. Maybe in a couple years, someone in Kapolei could park a ride and train it partway into town. Another con is the climate. It's hot and dry out there. You definitely need AC in your home. Some people also miss the greenery. Everglades is just flat and sunny versus the lush valleys of East or Central Oahu. Culturally, it's a bit of a bedroom community. You don't have the rich history of older neighborhoods, but you do get a lot of young families, so there's camaraderie. If I were moving in 2025 with a limited budget but wanting a house for my family, I would absolutely look at Kapolei. I'd just mentally prepare for the commute routine. These areas represent the best chance for a normal, middle-class family to own a home on Oahu in this era. A lot of people start in Eva or Kapolei to build equity, then move closer in when finances improve. To sum up, match your neighborhood to your family's needs and values. If your priority is top-tier education and you have the budget for it, East Honolulu is what you want. If your priority is, I want my kids to have a yard and a big house without going broke, then West Oahu is the answer, as long as you're willing to deal with the commute. Sometimes the popular idea of moving to Hawaii with a family is living by the beach, maybe on the North Shore or Kailua, so kids grow up surfing. That's a beautiful dream, but keep in mind those areas are very expensive and can be impractical if you have to commute to town for work. Kailua has basically no affordable housing left. North Shore is even more isolated. In 2025, practical considerations have to balance the dream. I'd rather have a slightly less glamorous neighborhood, but be able to afford taking my kids out for shade ice and beach days on weekends than be house poor in the most famous zip code. Last scenario. Suppose I'm closer to retirement age or planning for a quieter life with the kids out of the house. Maybe you're moving here after retirement for that island sunshine. Let's say 20 years from now, I'm done paying for college tuition, the kids have their own places, and it's just me and my wife looking to downsize and enjoy the golden years. When I imagine my retirement stage in Honolulu, priorities would be peace, convenience, low maintenance, and comfort. I'd ask, can I age in place here? Is healthcare nearby? Are daily needs easy to get to if I can't drive as much? Is it safe and quiet? Some retirees want to golf every day. Others want to walk on the beach each morning, and others want to be near grandkids or volunteer opportunities. I personally would be dreaming of a lifestyle with less stress, more nature, and not having to constantly fix things around the house. After owning a home and dealing with maintenance for decades, many locals in Honolulu actually opt to downsize to a condo in their later years. I can absolutely see myself doing this. The appeal is strong. No yard to mow, no roof to repair, and you often get amenities like security, pools, gyms, maybe even a doorman. For me, if I'm 70, I want convenience. I'd consider a condo in a newer building in Kaka'ako or Ala Moana area. Someplace near Ala Moana Center would be ideal because I could walk to get groceries, pharmacies, doctors, and of course, Ala Moana Beach Park for my morning walks. Kaka'ako's newer condos are built with accessibility in mind. I could lock the door and travel without worrying about burglars or yard upkeep. Many empty nesters are moving into Kaka'ako specifically because it's become a vibrant community for both young professionals and retirees who want to be in the mix without house responsibilities. Picture this. I wake up in my 2-bedroom condo on the 20th floor, sip coffee on the balcony with an ocean view, then take the elevator down and stroll to a cafe where the barista knows me by name. Later, maybe I'll join a yoga class at the park or volunteer at the museum. In the evening, maybe I catch a show at the Blaisdell or a nice dinner, then go home, all within a short drive or walk. One practical thing to consider is HOA fees. Retiring in a fancy condo means you need to budget for monthly maintenance fees, which can be $1,000 or more depending on the building. That can be a shock if you're used to a paid-off house with just utilities and taxes. But in exchange, you get peace of mind and convenience. Another plus, safety. Many condos have 24/7 security or at least secured entries, which might help you feel safe as you age. Healthcare access is another benefit. From Alawana, it's 5 to 10 minutes to Queens Medical Center or Straub Clinic. If you lived out in a rural area and had an emergency, it's more of a worry. Let's say condo life isn't your thing, and you actually want a small home to putter around it. Maybe do a bit of gardening, but nothing too strenuous. You'd want a quiet residential neighborhood that's not too far from necessities. If money were no issue, I might think about Kahala again. But honestly, by retirement, I don't need a mansion. I'd be looking more for a single-story home in a safe, peaceful area. Within Honolulu, neighborhoods like Kahala, Ainahaina, or Manoa can be ideal for retirees. They're established, safe, and have a mix of ages, including many long-term residents aging in place. For example, Manoa Valley has a cooler climate and lots of bungalows. Kahala is great because it's flat, and you have Kahala Mall for all your basics right there. Many seniors gather at Kahala Mall in the mornings to mall walk in the AC and then have a coffee. On the windward side, Kailua is another retiree's paradise for some. Beautiful beaches to walk on and a nice small town view. I'd also consider places like Mililani Mauka because there are some single-level homes and it's very quiet. Plus, they have a strong community association that offers activities for seniors. However, Mililani might be far from specialized medical care. Hawaii Kai could be a contender also. Lots of retirees there enjoy the marina and gardening. Ultimately, if it's me and my wife, I might lean towards downsizing to a nice condo as I described because of the low maintenance and ability to travel. But I'd choose the condo carefully. Maybe a lower floor unit in a mid-rise so I don't have to rely solely on elevators, or a building known for being quiet and with lots of owner occupants. Here are some things I'd look out for: HOA and maintenance. If I'm in a condo, I'd watch those fees and the financial health of the association. If I'm in a house, maybe find one with a smaller yard or already landscaped so it's low maintenance. Accessibility, no stairs, or the ability to add a stair lift. Wide doorways maybe, a walk-in shower. If I buy at 60, thinking ahead to 80, these things do matter. Convenience, walking distance or a short drive to grocery, pharmacy, and healthcare. Living out in a serene beach house might sound nice, but if it's a 1-hour drive to the hospital, that's a serious consideration. Community, I'd want to be somewhere I can socialize a bit. Maybe join a club, see people at the park. Some condos have community rooms or planned activities. Some neighborhoods have community centers. Many people assume they want to retire on a quiet beach in Hawaii, sipping cocktails every day. But some of the popular beach areas can actually be impractical when you're older. A cottage on the North Shore is lovely, but do you want to be driving 1 hour to see a specialist doctor or visit grandkids in town? And if you have any mobility issues, those country homes with stairs and big yards might become a burden. That's why a lot of long-time locals downsize from the big family home to a convenient condo or a smaller house when they hit their 70s. They want to age in place comfortably, meaning they can continue living there without needing to move or struggle as they get older. Moving to Honolulu is exciting, but without the right neighborhood fit, living here can get frustrating. The wrong choice of condo and you're hit with a surprise $1,500 a month HOA bill. The wrong area for your lifestyle, and you could be facing hour-long commutes or finding out there are no kids your child's age on your street. Honolulu has so many micro neighborhoods, each with pros and cons. I've worked with first-time buyers, families relocating from the mainland, and retirees looking for that peaceful Hawaiian life. Wherever you are in life, I'm here to help you find where you'll feel at home in Honolulu. If you're thinking about making this move, I'd love to be a resource for you. Reach out to me anytime. We can hop on a call and I can give you a personalized insight on neighborhoods, budget, whatever you need. And if you're not quite ready, scan the QR code to grab my free Oahu relocation guide and watch my next video to learn more about living in Honolulu.